Hello everyone and welcome back to me, Anita. In this series, we are going to learn some easy ways to ask and answer common questions. In English, it's really useful.
I like the way you write it, I saw me, it look like siren, just like 5 I got 5 just like domino. I put a bitch, I put a I tell a bomb.
You're going to learn new more common ways to ask and answer the question, how are you in English? You probably learned, how are you? And I'm fine. Textbooks before, but in United States people will usually ask the question and answer it in different way. First, let's review. If someone says, how are you? You can say, I'm fine. I'm fine. Here are some other ways to answer. Pretty good. This means about the same thing as I'm fine. Pretty good. We also have not bad. You can use this if you are feeling just okay or so not bad. Let's look at our question again. How are you? This is the most well-known way of asking how someone is. You can use it when you want to polite. But now let's look at some different ways to ask how someone is. These ways are more casual and much more common. First, hey, how's it going? Hey, how is it going? You can answer this many ways. If you are feeling good, you can say good, good, pretty good, not bad, not bad. Once more, good, pretty good, not bad. Even though this answer meant the same thing as I'm fine, you cannot answer how it's going with I'm fine. It will sound a bit strange if you are not feeling good. You can say not so good, not so good, not great, or not so well, not so well. Well, not so well. Be careful. If you say one of these, the other person will usually ask why, what's wrong. To be polite, then you will have to explain other casual but very common version of how are you is what's up. What's up? To reply, use a cheerful voice. A cheerful voice as you say not much or nothing much. Nothing much. This means you are free and able to chat. Signs what's up is just another way of saying hello. You can also reply with hey or hi. Now it's time to. When we ask questions that mean how are you in English, we're not actually asking about the other person's health. We're only asking to be polite. You should think of this question as another way of saying hello, a way for the conversation to get started instead of actual literal question. In fact, when someone asks you what's up, you don't even have to answer, just say what's up in reply.
I like the way you write it, I saw me, it look like siren, just like 5 I got 5 just like domino. I put a bitch, I put a I tell a domino.
Okay, this lesson you are going to learn how to ask what someone's job is in natural English. Of course, you can just say, what is your job? This is correct English, but it sounds too direct and awkward native English speaker. Almost never say this in a social situation. Instead, they use a different question. But before we master that, we need to compare it to a very similar question. What are you doing? I'm presenting a video about English. What do you do? I'm in. What do you do? In English teacher. Do you see the difference? There's two questions. What are you doing? And what do you do? Sounds similar, but mean different things. The first one is asking what you are doing. Right now, this minute you answer it using an ing verb. what you are doing. I'm reading. I'm watching. While the second is actually a shortened version of what do you do for a living. This is how we ask what is your job. In natural English, let's practice the question. What do you do? What do you do when native speaker of English asks this question? It can come up very fast and sound more like what do you do? In order to tell it apart from what are you doing, just listen for the ing sounds on the end of the question. On the end of the question, if it's not there, then you are being asked what your job is. So how would you answer this question? Just think of it as the other person is asking you what is your job. You can answer with I am plus your job. Example, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher, or I'm an engineer. If you want to learn more job names, go to English. Did you work at starting with I work? At I work. Example, I work at a hospital. I work at a hospital. I work at a law firm. I work at a law firm. If you work for a big company that is well known, you can say I work for. Then the name I work for Microsoft. I work for Microsoft. I work for the New York Times. I work for the New York Times. Now, it's time for Alicia advice. When you ask the question, what do you do? And the other person tell you.
I like the way you write it. I saw me, it look like siren, just like 5 I got 5 just like domino. I put a bitch, I put a I tell a domino.
When asking about them, a much more natural way to ask same question is, what do you do for fun? Let's practice this question. What do you do for fun? What do you do for fun? You can also ask, what do you do in your free time? What do you do in your free time? So, how will you answer this question? Let's look at how native speaker will do it. The easiest way is to say like to or just like followed by what you like to do. For example, if you like watching movies, you could say I like to watching movies. I like watching movies. You could say I like to watch movies, or I like watching movies. I like to watch movies, or I like watching movies. And if you like golf, you could say I like to play golf, or I like playing golf. I like to play golf, or like playing golf. You can emphasize how much you like your hobby by adding a word like really in front of like. For example, I really like watching movies. On the other hand, if you want to play down how much you like something, you can say kind of. For example, I kind of like playing tennis. If you don't have any special hobbies or don't want to be specific, a good way to reply is I like hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. I like hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. Just use I like and added hanging out with my friends and then add stuff like that. Now we are going to learn some new words to ask someone what's your name, including one that you can use when you have forgotten someone's name. Now, what's your name was probably one of the first questions you learned when you start studying English. I have to tell you talk that most native speakers of English would never say. This in English just like it other language, it is often more polite to be a little indirect. Of course, the easiest way to avoid asking the question directly is to not ask. Just introduce yourself, and most people will respond by doing the same. When introducing yourself, simple is nearly always best. Just say, "Hi, I am Anita." You want to know the other person's name, just add it and you at the end. "Hi, I am Anita." And you, he, him, and you just like before, take out my name, Anita, and put your name in is the place after you say this other person will tell you his or her name. Okay, now let's talk about embracing situation that happens to everybody. You have already met this person, but you have forgotten their name. The most polite thing to do in this situation is to apologize and ask again. There's simple way to do this that's also polite. "I'm sorry. What was your name again?" "I'm sorry. What was your name again?" This sentence is very similar to "what's your name," but it has three important differences. First, we say "I'm sorry." A small apology can go a long way. After that, we say "what was your name." This is just like "what is your name," but instead of is we use the past tense. Was this really important? Other person that you remember meeting them, you haven't forgotten him or her, you have just forget the name. This little word makes all the difference. "I'm sorry, what was your name?" Finally, we add again to the end this another hint, then tells other person that you remember learning his or her name before, but you just cannot recall it right now. "I'm sorry, what was your name again?" This phrase is appropriate for both formal and informal. Now it's time for the address people by name in conversation more than once in both formal and informal situation. Okay, my friend, I think that's all, and I say thank you.